Okay, so this is a quick example of how to work on your water projects map. And for my example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find one of these dams and I'm going to draw it on our map. So the dam I'm going to pick is Navajo Dam. So there's many different ways to do this, but the one tool I'm going to use is Google Maps. So maps.google.com. You have a little search bar here. I'm going to type in Navajo Dam. And when I do, it takes me to the dam, puts a little red spot. I'm going to zoom out here. And so what I have is a map showing roads, this reservoir. If I zoom in, you can see there's water here. Okay. And if I zoom out more, I can see there's the four corners right there. Zoom out some more. Okay, there's Santa Fe. There's Albuquerque. Okay, so this red dot is what we're looking for. So what I like to do is zoom in and out a lot just to kind of give me a sense of where things are. So I know that here's Four Corners, here's Albuquerque, there's that border with Colorado, and that's what we're looking for, okay? Navajo Dam. All right, now if I go to my slide, so let's see. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you first download it off of Learn. And this is just a background image. You can't change anything on here. You can't move anything. It's just a static image. But we want to orient ourselves. Here's Four Corners. Here's Albuquerque. Okay. Now, useful tool is zoom. Down here, you can zoom in as high as 400%. You can also click the number 400 and enter a number there if you want. Okay, so I'm going to kind of get to the same part of the map that we were just looking at. Now it shows this river coming down and then going back up to the border right here. Okay, so that is this same river right here. Now, kind of hard to see on map view, but down here it says satellite. If I click that, it shows me a satellite view of the exact same thing. And the river is this green ribbon coming down here. So if you do, so let's just zoom in. Zoom, 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 zoom. Okay, if I zoom all the way in, there it is. There's a river. Oh look, San Juan River. That's one of the rivers you're supposed to find on your map. Okay, so the San Juan River is this kind of smiley face thing right here, which on yours is this. Okay, so that's the San Juan River. So what we're saying is somewhere along here exists the Navajo Dam, right? So if I go back, that red spot right there, that's the dam that we're looking for. Now, I can also go back to my map view at any time. Makes it a little easier to see the borders. So there's Four Corners. There's the border with Colorado. San Juan River comes through here. There's our dam. Okay. Four Corners, border, smiley face part of the river. So we're somewhere in here. That's what we're looking for. So to find the exact spot, we're going to compare the little bends in the river and see if we can figure out where that dam is on this. So I'm going to go back, go to satellite, and zoom in. Okay, so San Juan River comes along and it's pretty flat west to east here, and then it takes a left-hand turn and a really sharp right-hand turn, and then there's a bunch of little wiggles, and then right here the river made a really sharp bend like this, and that's where they put the dam in, right there. Okay, so we're looking for, so we're going to see if we can find this little thing followed by this. All right, so I'm going to go back. Okay, so there is the first bend, then that sharp right-hand bend, and then that is where the dam is. Now, it's confusing because PowerPoint doesn't let us zoom in anymore, so we're comparing two different scales here. And this is why zooming in and out is a really helpful tool. I'm zoomed in more on this map than the other one. Okay, but you can convince yourself that this and this is this and this. So the dam sits right in here. Okay, so I'm going to draw it in. And I go to my instructions, and it says short line segment across the river, brown in color, 1.5 point in thickness. Okay, so I'm going to insert shapes. I'm just going to do a straight segment, and basically it's going to go right there, like that. Okay, now that I drew a segment, this drawing tool's format lights up, which wasn't there before. Click on Shape Outline, and I can pick a color, so I'll pick that for brown. And then I can change the thickness, and they call it weight. So I go to weight, instructions tell me 1.5 point. There's 1.5. Click, okay. So now I got a brown in color, 1.5 points. So there's my dam. Now I want to label it. I'll go back to the instructions. It says, for each label, use a white background, black font, 6 point. Okay. So, to do that, I'm going to insert. I'm going to do text box. I'm going to click here. And right now, I've got giant letters. I want tiny ones. So I'm going to change that to 6. And I'm going to type in the label. Okay, so now I've got black letters, but I want them on a white background. So PowerPoint considers this thing I made a shape, and it's still highlighted, still selected. So over here it says Shape Fill. I can click for white, and this is what it's going to give me. So Navajo Dam, black letters, white background. Now, this little thing right here is how you rotate an object. If I left click on this, I can rotate and then let go. So for this project, our goal is basically to get all the information on here without anything overlapping. And so right now there's nothing else on here, and it's not a problem, but there's going to be a couple dams and other labels around. And so I just want to arrange things so it's easy to read. I'm going to put it up here. Okay, so I got a dam, I got a label. Now, let's say there is a reservoir that I want to draw in. It says, use the scribble tool in PowerPoint to roughly outline the following bodies of water. Okay, there's a bunch of them here. Use blue with no outline. Close the curve. This will fill the lake. All right, so what does that mean? So if I go back to my satellite view. So what they did here is they dammed up this river and it made this lake. Okay, that's what all this is. And it's a weird shape, right? It's this weird windy lake because what they did is they flooded a canyon, right? So let's say I want to kind of sketch that in the best that I can. So that lake kind of went up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert shapes, and I want the scribble tool. So this one right here says freeform scribble. Okay, so I'm going to just approximate what that lake looked like. And I'm going to hold down the left mouse button, and it flooded this whole canyon up in here. So I'm going to come back down. Now, when I get close to the beginning, see what they just did? Now, I'm still holding the left mouse button down. When I got close to the starting point, it knows I'm trying to close the loop, and it filled it in. I'm going to let go now. Now, see what it did? It has blue on the inside and a different shade of blue on the outside. That different shade of blue on the outside is called the outline, and the instruction says no outline. All right, so I can change that. This is highlighted, shape outline, no outline. Okay, so now it's easier, a little easier to see. It doesn't have that fat line on it. Now I'm going to purposely move it a little bit here. Okay, see how it's on top of the dam, and I don't want that. I want the dam to be up in front. So what I can do in PowerPoint is you can put objects behind other objects, and that's called their order. So if I right click on this and I say send to back, what that means is it sends it behind all the other objects. So see how now the dam is in front of the lake? That's what we want. Okay. So if this was a lake that you had to find, after you sketch it in, you make another label, tell me what it is, put that label on here too, right? So you're going to end up with a bunch of dams and a bunch of reservoirs, each that has a label, and it's up to you to kind of get the labels. You know, you might do something like this, like maybe you want the label like that for the dam, and another one over here for the lake, going this way or this way, just some make it legible. Okay, so dam, lake, label, maybe another label, and that's basically what you're doing. Now, I picked Navajo Dam because it's probably the hardest one, and the reason it's the hardest one is that there's not a lot of topography, meaning that if you look over here, you've got little mountain peaks that can guide you. Out here, there's not so much. That's why this is kind of a harder one for people to do. But if I go back, so for example, okay, you can see these hills right here, right? Now, if I go back to your map, that's those hills. They're a lot easier to find. It's easier to figure out kind of exactly where you are for most of these. At least I hope so. Don't sweat the small stuff, right? So get it pretty close to where you think it is. You know, there's a limit as to the accuracy that we can get doing it this way. This is normally something we do on a gigantic piece of paper like a poster. And so this is sort of the online version of that, which is not great, but best we can do.